Okay, hello everybody and welcome back to your coverage of the Redbull ECL. This is day 2 of competition and we are still in the round robin group stage portion. This is going to be our first match of the day. It's IG versus DK. Not a long anticipated rematch, but still a pretty exciting rematch all the same. I'm Baseskip here providing coverage on behalf of Beyond the Summit, and it's my pleasure as well to welcome Winter to the broadcast. So Winter, how you doing?
I'm feeling good today. It's the same bands.
Yeah.
Also on OD.
So, what are your thoughts going into this, Winter? Obviously, you cast the grand final, that best of 7, and we all saw the turnaround from DK. Do you have any particular thoughts to bring up after that series, or
5 seconds remaining?
Well, I feel like IG has been always using the first few games that they won. They banned like the OD and the Timbersaw. After the first 3 games, they were like a long break, and after that they changed some stuff in the pick and ban phase, and I don't know, maybe it just like fell apart. And there was also one game where Enchantress Vino opening, and they didn't ban the Wisp later, and they got punished for that.
Okay, so it looks like IG have just kind of learned their lesson. They're not going to let DK get their hands on the Wisp at all, which DK are pretty happy with. It's a pick that they may or may not have used in any given game, but it gives them a little bit of extra flexibility. So far from DK, it's looking like a pretty aggressive pushing strategy. IG do already have the Venomancer up to kind of stall the game a little bit, and they're no slackers when it comes to the early game either, especially with the team fight from the Bristleback. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty action-packed one right from the get-go, Winter.
10 seconds remaining.
And Visage is yet again ignored. Something is wrong.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, I think it's a little bit unlikely for DK. It's still good, but it's not that much fun to play against Bristleback. You move your familiars into the fight, they eat 3 quill sprays, they die, 200 gold to the bristle, and you know, you're a little bit sad. But we'll see. It could still be good. The burst damage is still fantastic, and if you have some good micro, you can avoid the familiars dying.
You put them on the same team, the Bristol and the Visage.
Yeah,
So
you can do that. You can do that as well.
So Assumption pass Quill Spray, very good in the fights early on. Maybe they'll probably look forwards to doing that. Vino and Visage as dual supports, not too bad.
10 seconds.
Yeah, the Venomancer, you can throw him in that 5 position. You're not too worried about how he's going to do. He's pretty much just there to get a couple of points up in Sting, max out the wards, and that's pretty much it. I guess the thing that's worth keeping in mind as well is that IG could choose to bump the Venomancer up a little bit, but the trends at the moment have been Venomancer is largely either only an offlane or a support, and we've only really seen Bristle, to my recollection, in the offlane recently. Though I think some teams have maybe still been running him as their 1 position. What have you seen, Winter?
1 or 2 games, if I remember correctly, there was 1 or 2 games which Tongfu ran Bristleback as position 1. I didn't really fancy that a lot. I feel like Bristleback doesn't really need that much farm, and he doesn't really have to be farming that quickly in the first 10 minutes. You need your whole team to get ready to push as a group. So Bristleback is those heroes that if he's on the offlane, he'll get something out of the offlane compared to other heroes. So I don't think Bristleback is a very good safe lane hero.
Yeah, I think we have seen him run a little bit on the safe lane for the super fast mech kind of all-in push, but like you said, recently teams have just been running him as kind of a semi-carry on the off lane and just letting him get his farm in other ways. And you can stack up Ancients, you can clear them later, so very solid all-round off-lane hero. And DK is still
5 seconds remaining.
Well, still pretty heavily favoring this Clinks. We saw it played by them yesterday. They actually picked it up within the first 2. It was Enchantress into Clinks. This time around it's going to be a little bit later, 3rd pick, but looking forward to seeing it.
It's the style where someone is constantly making space for someone else. At the start of the game, they will obviously make space for the Clinks. After the Clinks has like 14-15 minute Midas and Orchid, it's the Clinks' turn to make space for the team. And when you don't see the Clinks on the map, you're always afraid of something that might come, forces the enemy team to 5-man. It's very similar to the playstyle of the Wisp and the Tiny.
Yeah, I mean, DK just seem to have found something that's really working for them. And the thing is that the strategy doesn't really seem to have one obvious weakness. You just kind of have to win. If you're going to beat it, you kind of have to win 2 out of 3 lanes and then just be the ones with the advantage, you know, the whole game through. Because if DK have the advantage, they're very good at dictating the pace of the game.
Maybe there's also one more weakness towards this type of strategy. If you're able to 5-man and take down a lot of towers early on, that could be a problem for DK because if
DK's
they run a
turn to
Klings,
pick.
Klings doesn't generally defend towers very well at the start of the game. So it depends on IG if they want to 5-man. They could possibly go 5-man with Bristleback and Pugna, but if it fails and you don't take any towers, like I think it was yesterday, one of the games you have Pugna and they
Yeah.
didn't take any towers and they were so screwed after that.
Yeah, I think they had Pugna and just couldn't take a single tier 1. I think the game ended before they could even take
10
one.
seconds
I guess the one thing we've been complimenting DK over the course of yesterday's games and
5
things like that
seconds
about
remaining.
how wide their the breadth of their hero pool at the moment, and I think IG deserves the
Reserve
same
time.
kind of praise. They've been running some interesting stuff. They've been pulling out a safe lane Viper from time to time to rush up a fast mech, get a really fast push strategy going. They've also got a couple of the duo-core, tri-core lineups. So to me, this is probably the most interesting matchup of at least the group stage portion of the competition. Just because both teams just don't have any restrictions, really, it seems, in terms of, okay, what can they play? They don't play this hero. They sort of have everything available to them.
Yeah, and this is going to be something new. This is a first for me that DK pulled out the hat. They've picked Doom in the past, but they
Not
have
in this
picked
position.
Doom. Yeah, they have not picked Doom in this position where there's a Dragon Knight, there's a Klings, so it's an offlane Doom, it seems, most likely.
Yeah, offlane. He can't really take the
DK's
jungle.
turn to
Enchantress
ban.
definitely has that pin down. So if everything plays out as expected, it's 1 position Clinks, 2 position Dragon Knight, 3 position Doom, and then 4 pause Enchantress, just looking towards that hard support to round things off. And I'm a little bit surprised, like you are, Winter. Doom is not your typical offlaner, and it just seems like DK really want to have that full tri-core
IG's turn to
going.
ban.
It's very good against the Bristleback though, I must say.
You doom him and you don't have to worry about the AoE damage, it becomes a lot
Yeah,
easier to
just
kill him as well.
Disables the passive,
Yeah.
but it's a bit weird in the lineup they
DK's
have right
turn
now.
to pick.
That's all I have in mind. I don't know if they are looking to change their positions, maybe Klings on the off lane. I see sometimes people do that, and Dragon Knight and Doom will be the safe lane in solo mid. I don't know if they'll be looking to do that. It's highly unlikely, but it's also an option if they want to go there.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Because the thing is, the last 4 games that we've seen of DK, Ice has really been on
10
a hero that
seconds
can create
remaining.
space on the offlane. I think we saw 2 Venomancer games and the 1 game of
5
Juggernaut where he was
seconds
just
remaining.
pressuring towers, running into jungles, just keeping the enemy team
Reserve
occupied at
time.
all times. And to me, it doesn't feel like the Doom has that same ability to pressure
Maybe-
towers and do that kind of thing.
Maybe
So we'll
to a
see.
certain extent. Maybe to a certain extent he's hard to kill, so
Yeah.
he's gonna buy time.
Yeah. I guess the one thing that's worth talking about is that DK are still really heavily picking this Enchantress. Maybe we'll see IG make an aggressive move down into the Radiant jungle, try and block out some camps early on. And I guess the one other thing to talk about with the Enchantress is that, given that assuming that the Doom is going to be on the offlane, if we assume that to start, then it's probably up to the Enchantress to be creating a little bit more space. We have seen some early Enchantress ganks here and there from DK, but maybe there'll be a little bit more pressure, on the Enchantress to get things done early game with this kind of greedy tri-core that they have going.
There's an issue right now. DK doesn't have any good initiating supports. Rubik and Maiden are out of the pool for Enchantress. They have to look for secondary ones like Venge, Sand King. Not as
Venge,
strong
Sand
as
King, Lion.
Lion.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
like to see Lion.
10 seconds
You mentioned
remaining.
Juggernaut just now, picked up for DK. I was thinking when I look at IG's
5
lineup,
seconds remaining.
the Juggernaut could fit very well with them. Like
IG's
Doom,
turn
if you
to
cast
pick.
Doom on the Bristleback, you just need to put the healing ward there and it's gonna counteract the Doom damage. And Juggernaut the healing ward is very good for Lone Druid and Bristleback tanks, and they're gonna be pushing very strong as a 5.
Yeah, I could definitely see it working. You would have to put one of them mid, but shouldn't be too much of a problem. That whoever it is, it's going to be up against the Dragon Knight.
I
so-
think it's like Lone Druid. If they pick the Juggernaut, Lone Druid will go
10
middle,
seconds
Bristleback will be
remaining.
off lane, and they give the Juggernaut the safe farm first because he needs to
5 seconds
be the
remaining.
one that has the early items to help his teams push, and the Bristleback can just catch up later.
Reserve
So
time.
probably they'll do that if they pick the
If
Juggernaut.
if they pick the Jug. Okay, IG actually going to go for the Bounty Hunter here. So we're looking at something like Bristle mid, safe lane Lone Druid. Could even be, well, If the bounty was a better solo, I would say maybe aggressive tri-lane, but...
I am thinking along the lines, maybe Lone Druid will be solo mid, and then Bristol will be on the safe lane. But they could do either way as well, because Bristleback doesn't do too bad against Dragon Knight, so doesn't really matter too much for them. But Lone Druid definitely will be able to at least create more pressure to the DK in the lane, because your bear can always just push him out of the lane.
Yeah.
But not too sure whether they'll go down there, because I don't think it's a huge lot of difference. It's almost the same.
10 seconds.
How do you feel about this bounty hunter pickup? Because to me, the Lone Druid's not going to be moving around too much early. He's still going to want to farm Midas Radiance. It's pretty much the only build these days, and Veno and Rubik are alright ganking supports, but they don't really have a ganking core aside from the bounty. So I guess IG just gonna have to go out of their way a little bit to make sure that he gets some stuff done and that they do try and set up some of those kills. It's gonna be fantastic against the Clinks, obviously, but I guess we'll see how it does.
And at the start of the game, maybe he can just follow and annoy the Enchantress. That could be one of the few moves that he makes in the early game to make sure that the Enchantress doesn't have a very strong impact. Doesn't have a quick level 6. Maybe he's gonna just disrupt the Enchantress farm from there.
Look at this from DK. They put in a Sentry Ward. They're all waiting in the camp. Yeah, they think that the bounty's going to be coming down by himself. YYF is leading the charge right now. MMY hasn't skilled up anything just yet. He's going to go for the shackles. They hold YYF in position. Looks like he's going to end up being your first blood, not able to get out of range of the sentry. Gale's going to fly out from Banana, lift up onto Ice as he charges in, eating some bear damage. He's going to be able to escape back to the back lines. Ferrari, a little bit of Cool Spray going out. Mushi and Burning, both dropping pretty low. But do they have any more follow-up? Gale's on cooldown for another 6 seconds, and looks like that's going to be it.
Every time they fight before the creep spawns, and if DK wins the fight, it usually means IG will win the game.
Yeah, that was the trend. That was the trend during the Ace finals. So we'll see.
Yeah, that was really smart. They knew that the bounty would be scouting for his team, and that was a very prime position to wait. When the bounty hunter sees the enemy team, it's already too late.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit of an interesting decision for IG to move down here so aggressively. They do want to definitely place some wards to try and block up some of the Enchantress's camps, but their level 1 isn't that amazing. Gale isn't the ability that it used to be. Rubik with Lift does no damage. I guess it's kind of up to the Bristleback and Bristleback Bounty and the Bear to just right-click people to death.
They don't have much damage like you mentioned, and probably a better option of scouting there was just to leave the bear to scout it instead of the bounty hunter. But it just slips your mind, like you never know what DK have in mind, and usually you just like bounty has boots, he's gonna scout first, so he's gonna be safe and he's invis, and the enemy team was just one step ahead of you.
Yeah, so IG looks like they should still be able to place down some wards if they want to. They've already blocked out the Enchantress's big camp over here with this sentry, so I think still accomplishing what they were aiming for. They did manage to get the salve out of Ferrari, so a little bit of his regen is going to be chewed up there. And I guess we should introduce the teams before we go too much further during this pause. So over on DK, it's DK versus IG. This is game 1 of this 2-game set for the group stage portion of the Redbull ECL. And over on DK, we have Ice on the Doom, MMY, Mamoya, Dai, Weapon X, whatever you want to call him. He's going to be over on the Shadow Shaman. Mushi is going to be on the Dragon Knight, Lanham on the Enchantress, and that's going to leave Burning to handle the Clinks.
And on the Dire side, we have IG Banana. On the Venomancer, Faith will be handling the Rubik. Hao will be on the Lone Druid, Ferrari 430 playing the Bristleback. And lastly, we have YYF that went down to the First Blood, playing the Bounty Hunter on the offlane.
Yeah, do you have any insight into Hao's name at all? He's actually been playing under a couple of different tags recently, but
no.
I don't know. Okay, fair enough. So
I have no idea. Probably it's just like some admirer's name. I heard something about that last time. Maybe it means someone else's name or something like that.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, a lot of players do sometimes have like the little heart whoever after their name and things like that, so I guess it's just the same kind of story. But looking at the lanes, I'm thinking whether IG is contemplating whether they should just be doing an aggressive tri lane here, because like the lanes of DK are not very strong. It's quite weak. Yeah, I guess the only gamble, and we've always talked about this against the Enchantress, is that if that first gank with 2 creeps wipes out your tri-lane, then you're already in a really bad spot.
Probably it's a bad idea since they just lost first blood.
Yeah, and who actually managed to pick that up? Who has the only kill?
The Doom.
It's Ice. So nice bit of a start for him.
If they, because like they can just leave. I'm thinking like they can leave the Lone Druid 1 versus 1 against the Doom. That would be quite a favorable matchup for him. And Bristleback against DK is even. Maybe
tri-lane Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they can do that. I'm not very sure. I've seen teams do that before. They surprise enemies. You see the Bounty Hunter in the lane. Oh, you think Bounty Hunter is alone, and the 2 supports are just basically
they pop out of the trees. Yeah.
Yeah. When the moment you go for the Bounty Hunter, they just kill you.
Yeah. The one thing we've also seen, some weird aggressive tri-lanes that just catch the enemy off guard. I've seen anti-mage aggressive tri-lane before. I think it was even IG that were at one point running Timbersaw aggressive tri-lane, just because they thought it was going to be favorable, and it actually ended up working out pretty well. So we'll see. I guess the other option is to put the Bristle in the tri-lane and leave the Bounty against the Dragon Knight mid, but Bounty's going to get his levels there for sure, but it's not going to be a winning matchup.
Boots, he has boots, not a very good idea.
Yeah, so
I've seen one tri-lane, which to me it's like one of the weirdest. I don't know if you've seen this before. Darkseer as position 4, Juggernaut as the lane carry, and Rubik. You Iron Shell and he spins and follows you.
Okay. I think my favorite aggressive tri-lane that I saw was back during the Phantom Lancer, the period where Phantom Lancer was really, really popular, and that was Kunkka, Shadow Demon, and Dazzle. So the idea was that you had the sustain. You had the sustain from the Dazzle to keep eating Illuminates, and if you caught anybody, Disrupt, Torrent, you heal the illusions as they pop out as well, and it's pretty much just a one-shot kill on whoever you've managed to catch.
I've seen something similar to that lane. It was 1 year ago in G League last year. It was LGD International doing it. Dazzle, Kunkka, and I can't remember the other hero, but it was like a very weird tri-lane. Yeah, something to set up, and they were going to kill the Jakiro, a twin-headed dragon at level 1, and I was like, are they going to get the kill? It's like a 700 HP support, but they managed to kill him because like the disrupt into the heal bomb dealt a lot of damage.
Yeah, Dazzle's heal actually does a surprising amount of damage. There's going to be a ward drop down into the low ground, but MMY is already pinging it straight out. He knows what's going on. So it looks like DK should be able to get some D-wards down on at least one of these camps, and then Enchantress will be able to go about her business. Yeah, DK even going to be able to D-ward from the high ground here, so no time lost whatsoever on that camp.
Probably this is the cue just not to do the aggressive tri-lane anymore if they were planning to do it. They're actually going to do Lone Druid middle. Bristleback is moving all the way towards top to take the solo lane against the Doom.
Okay, so Faith's going up there, YYF is going to be harassing the Enchantress, and they're going to leave Banana on the off lane.
Yeah, Vanna is going to be on the off lane, and this is actually quite not what I expected in the lane distributions, but it's a very good idea in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about during the draft, because DK have gone for this kind of greedy tricore, it's up to the Enchantress to maybe make some more plays during the early game and create that space, and if the Bounty Hunter is tagging along the entire time, slowing her down by 50%, then that is going to be a little bit of a problem. And I guess also giving the levels to Banana, you can have that space creating Venomancer on the off lane, just constantly applying pressure, holding onto towers, and we've seen over the course of the last couple of days just how great Venomancer with levels can be.
Yeah, YYF is gonna get drive out of jungle now, not something he wants happening. He really needs one more level before he's able to at least try and get a kill in middle or try and do something annoying towards Mushi. Mushi has the Satyr on his side right now, dropping so many, already dropped 5 blasts on Hao, forcing him to resummon his bear.
Okay, so resummon's been used, also some harassment down on the hero. The one thing for YYF, he's already used his Clarity, he's only got enough mana for 2 more Shadow Walks as well, so it looks like he's not going to be hanging around in the jungle for too much longer. Burning doing okay in terms of CS.
Yeah, better. Are you alright?
Stream dropped out as well, so hopefully that'll sort itself out. Looks like it's reconnected now. Come on. Yeah, okay. Looks like it's alright. Sorry about that, guys. This happened about the same time yesterday as well, and then we were fine for the rest of the night. So hopefully that'll be the case this time as well. Yeah. Anyway, so YYF gonna make his way back into the jungle again. Still hasn't quite managed to reach level 2. Lanham just gonna drive him out one more time with the sentry ward that they placed earlier. The sentry ward that actually killed him for first blood as well, so that's been causing him some problems. And IG, not a whole lot of action just yet. They can't really rotate anywhere aside from maybe once the bounty hunter gets some levels. And this is the one downside, I guess, of going for this lane distribution. They can't smoke the Venomancer and the Rubik and go try and gank the DK mid or anything like that. So Mushi should be able to play it pretty aggressively, get his farm, and be just fine.
And top lane, the Doom is actually having such a good time against the dual lane. They can't really press him out of the lane, and he's getting so much levels. And if I just noticed, like Enchantress, for the past 1 or 2 minutes, he was like only jungling at the spots where they have sentries, so he knows where the bounty hunter is when he tries to get near him. This is the first time he did this camp.
Yeah, he's been alternating between the high ground and then over to the camp where they drop the sentry at level 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, so nicely played, just good awareness by Lanham. And that's actually going to force YYF back over to the lane to grab level 2. So not working out quite as well as IG would have hoped with this bounty hunter roaming around. But we'll see if YYF can recover. All he really needs to do is reach level 6 and start throwing tracks while stuff's going on. So still not too worried about his long-term progression here.
Oh, you want some of this, eh?
Like looking at the position of the lanes right now, I feel the off-lane Doom has been quite successful, and the Venomancer off-lane, not as successful as the Doom, but he's getting some levels. He's almost level 4 right now, so not too bad. But I feel like the bounty hunter hasn't been able to slow down the Enchantress by any means, like a huge slow. It's just a little bit annoying that he can't do the third camp, the one near to the tower, because there's no sentries there before. But he's still doing good job with his levels right now. He's going to be level 4 soon.
Yeah, he's still actually almost managed to reach level 4 right now, so it looks like hardly any damage dealt to Lanham whatsoever.
Yeah, he's been helping the middle lane as well, so his level progression is not as good as like if you just power farm, but he's been doing work. He's been scouting the bounty hunter, helping middle lane as well. That's going to be pop at bottom lane, but not going to do anything to YYF.
No follow-up there. Burning moved across as well, just in case something happened, but for the time being, everybody just kind of passively farming. DK actually pulling out to a huge early gold lead. They've got a Enchantress who's farming well. They got that first blood. The Doom isn't really being stopped at all. Already has 20 CS on the off lane, so this could become a bit of a problem for IG, just because the Lone Druid is still really on his one-track path. It's going to be more than likely the Midas into the Radiance or just straight up Radiance, which is going to take him a little while. The Bristleback might be able to get active early, but if it comes down to DK pushing his 4 into only 3 heroes from IG being able to do anything, say, the Rubik, the Venomancer, and whatnot. Actually, Entangle going to go out mid. Mushi gets lifted up, YYF here as well. He's got the Janata slow. Dragon Tail goes out onto the bear. Mushi not going to risk another Entangle, but nice body blocking going on from YYF. There's still some bottle sips ready for Mushi, however, and looks like he is going to be just fine. And they still managed to bring down YYF as Lanham hastes in.
Top lane as well. Doom gonna be used to take out the Bristleback too. That is just wins on middle lane and wins on top lane for DK.
Yeah, Ice is picking up a solo kill after that first blood. He is getting very scary, and we're just talking about the fact that the Bristleback, the Veno, and the Rubik had quite a bit of work to do come the mid game if this pace continued, and the Bristleback getting slowed down a little bit is gonna hurt a lot. So we'll see if IG can find their feet and start getting something going on.
Yeah, the Doom got a very valuable kill. He's gonna be so high level, and his income is just very much ahead of a lot of the heroes right now. And Mushi, because of having that early power charts, managed to survive that gank, and the bounty hunter didn't have toss to finish him off. Therefore, they managed to turn the fight around. Oh, he's gonna even get the bear now.
Yeah, last hits the bear mid.
300 gold. Oh boy.
So that's gonna push gold advantage even further out in favor of DK. Hal hasn't shown us just yet if he is going to be working towards the Midas. I don't think there are any other viable builds on the Lone Druid anymore. If you're going to pick the hero, you pretty much have to go Radiance. So we'll see what kind of time he's going to be able to get on that. I think he's doing just fine so far. 38 CS, 7.5 minutes in is nothing to sneeze at.
Maybe there's another alternate item build this game. There's 3 melee heroes. I don't know if going for Vlads, but like you said, the Radiance is the most powerful item build. I feel like the Midas into Radiance as a position 1. There's nothing else that beats that after the change to the armlet. Nothing else comes close as strong as the Radiance Midas.
Yeah, I mean, if things get really desperate, I guess there's a chance you could go something like Maelstrom, Vlad's, Basher, you know, AC, just little items here and there. But jump on bottom lane, Banana. It's going to be netted, hexed up as well, brought down by the Ether Shock. DK going to pick up another kill on the bottom lane.
Oh, they're just rotating around the map very, very well. Everywhere they go, they get a kill, and Lamb was at the right place at the right time in middle to bail Mushi out, and he's at the right place at the right time again at bottom to get the kill.
Yeah, I believe they smoked down for that one because Lan was actually had a Smoke of Deceit on cooldown there. So another nice kill picked up for DK. Faith picks up an invis, is going to make his way down towards bot just to soak up a little bit of experience. How actually very low on mid. These Tranquil Boots not doing as much for him as I think he would hope. So just going to sit around over in the trees and try and regen some hit points. And I don't know when DK placed this ward, but it's giving them a lot of information for the bottom lane.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that ward as well. It actually got placed recently.
Maybe when they smoked to move down towards bot, they went behind the tower first and then decided to loop around back to the lane. YYF gonna come in mid, not even gonna be able to get the Janata hit off on Lanham since he already has 2 points in Untouchable. So IG is just gonna come in, throw out a Fade Bolt, spam things back a little bit, but DK, 2 heroes applying pressure, they get a response from 3. Banana doing his best to hold on bot, but he's only got 150 hit points left, so he needs to be a little bit careful. And Ice getting a lot of farm top lane. Ferrari's still leading, but this is pretty much free farm for Ice right now.
You have to calculate the Devour goal as well. So the last hits is actually not too bad, even though he's like at the moment 33 to 51, but
if you look at the net worth, yeah. Ice is actually leading Ferrari right now, and MMY actually already picking up some arcanes, so he's doing very well for himself. Normally sometimes your support Shadow Shaman can have a bit of a hard time finding farm, but he's going to be fine.
Burning might be in trouble here.
Is there a dust? Well, there is a dust. They lift him up into the air. Looks like Burning is going to take a spill. He's got his Soaring, he's got his Midas. It's fortunately on cooldown for now. They just don't have any damage. He pops his stick charges. He's still alive. Nice little block with the ward. What they needed to pick that one up, but YYF is going to be zapped down by MMY. And ends up being a 1-for-1 overall on bottom lane. Mushi still has more to say about this. He's got a double damage picked up. Faith only going to take 2 swings and a Breathe Fire to bring down. And DK make it a 2-for-1 at the end of the day.
Top lane as well. Ferrari is getting chased down after the Doom being used. He's going to survive.
Yeah, Ice doesn't have a point in level death either.
No, he has Shockwave soon. He has the Shockwave soon.
Stick charges. Still alive for now. YYF makes his way up. This is going to be really valuable levels for him if they manage to get this one. And I don't know how Ice is going to be able to escape. Pops his stick charges, turns around, throws the nuke, but that's all he can do. So they do manage to bring down Ice at last on top lane.
Yeah, bottom lane they lost the towers after Rasta uses ultimate, so it's going to be even more gold for the team, even though Ice got dealt with. But there was 3 heroes there, so like we talked about before, someone made space,
yeah, for somebody else. Okay, so DK, pretty convincing lead so far. We've seen these graphs, you know, a couple of times over the last couple of days. It's a very comfortable 5k gold lead. Experience is going to swing back a little bit after those 2 big kills on both the Clinks and on the Doom, but I think DK is still feeling just fine. And Burning going to open up on Banana. Banana heading into the trees a little bit, not running away directly, and it's just going to be brought down. And he just wanted his Arcane Boots.
Yeah, Burning is going to be very happy to get that pick off and continue to get on his way to his Orchid as well. And Mama, is going to have his ultimate in 30 seconds, so top tower would be their next objective right now. Dragon Knight ultimate is up, Rasta Wars is going to be up soon.
Okay, they've already taken the tier 1 mid, they've already taken the tier 1 on bot, and DK, 3-man smoke going to be making its way out. Yeah, probably heading up towards the top lane. How? Did he end up going for the Midas? No, it's just a straight Radiance rush right now. And he's actually going to have the Relic up pretty soon, so doing a good job, but Still doesn't really have anything to contribute to this fight that's about to break out on the top lane.
Top lane.
They're looping around on top of Ice. Can he survive long enough for his teammates to get here? He's got the Doom to throw out. He gets lifted up into the air. He needs to Doom and then cover the spell. They do actually manage to lock down Faith. He gets trapped inside the wards. YYF drops as well. Ice somehow still alive, not quite dead yet. The Doom went out onto Ferrari. Mushi gonna give chase with this haste rune. They do end up losing the Doom, but 4 kills go their way in exchange.
And Hao is actually being spotted. Oh no.
Burning's just gonna
Fine.
steal the last hit and run off.
Yeah, I think Ice actually didn't have to die there.
Yeah, it looked
Could have
like
missed.
the Enchantress kind of ran away a little bit.
Yeah,
She
I
had
thought he was gonna,
the tendons.
Gonna heal him.
Yeah.
Heal him all the way, and he was gonna make it out from there. But like Lennon was like, no, I'm not gonna heal you. Sorry, dude. Bye.
Yeah, is Burning just hoping that Hao makes the decision to pop out of... I guess there's going to be one opportunity when he hits level 11 and he jumps out and then he jumps back in to get the refresh on the hit points, but I think otherwise there's no hope of Burning doing anything to him. I think he's just keeping tabs on him for now. And
He needs one more hero to help him
Yeah.
to get that kill.
Well, there's the relic up on the bear, so Radiant's well on its way. They've given away a lot of objectives to get to this point, but it looks like within the next couple of minutes they'll have their mech up on the Bristleback. They'll have that Radiance up in the Lone Druid, and then that pretty much needs to be the timing for IG. They're not going to get any other big items for a while. And I guess the other nice thing is that YYF, after all of this, has managed to reach his level 6, so they can start 5-manning and maybe get some track gold going on top of some towers.
Yeah, he's actually not having a good time this game. His level 6 was very, very late, and hopefully that will help him get some gold back for his team. And like, they also need the mech apart from the Radiance to be able to at least fight against DK.
Oh, they have it on Ferrari.
Oh, actually they have it? Oh.
Yeah. Safe lane Bristleback did manage to get it up. They're going to drop the Serpent Wards bottom lane. DK are just going to be able to get this tier 2 for free. Again, IG not going to take any fights until they have that Radiance completed. Hao wanted to try and trade for the tier 1 on top. Mushi not going to be able to get the stun out on the hero, but decides that the bear is the next best thing. Get some damage down, but Fate's going to pop in, say hello, and Mushi backs off. And Blink Dagger already up for the Shadow Shaman.
I was like, this
What?
guy is rich.
Yeah, this would not be an unreasonable inventory for a mid Shadow Shaman at this point. You know,
Yeah,
if he'd had a
not
bad
at-
game.
Not at all. Mid Shadow Shaman, level 15 minutes have Blink and Arcane Boots. That's nothing slow at all. And this is a support. Oh, Banana.
And MMY jumps in, Banana locked down. Won't even be able to drop any damage before he dies. The lockdown from the shackle just way too long. And DK moving in even further towards this tier 2. Ice hits up onto the high ground. YYF is going to be able to move in. Does a little bit of scouting. Where is that Radiance? That's what they're waiting for. It was alright when they gave away all the tier 1s. It's not okay if they give away all these tier 2s. The Doom's going to go out onto Hao. He's in bear form. He's still pretty tanky. What did Faith manage to get his hands on? We don't even get to see. He's going to be bursted down immediately.
He got Scorcher.
No, but... Okay, so IG are going to be able to get the Lone Druid back to safety. Looks like the bear not going to be quite so lucky. Is there a stomp on this Centaur? It has already been used. MMY going to jump in with the shackle. They want this thing dead. And Burning is going to be able to pick up the last hit, getting very close to his Orchid.
He has no bear now.
is under attack.
No bear for 50 seconds. Poor Hao. And DK have just slipped under IG in terms of this timing. Like, they are a minute or two ahead of where IG would like them to be. If IG had the mech and they had the Radiance, I think they would definitely be taking some of these fights, but until they're completed, they can't really do anything, and DK just going to keep on whittling away at them.
He still needs another 300 gold before he has his Radiance. It's not too quick, considering that he didn't go for a Midas. They didn't even down one tower, that's why his Radiance, it seems like it's very slow, but his last hit is actually pretty good for a solo mid Lone Druid.
I guess the thing that you can say is he was the only lane that kind of traded farm and did alright. Banana did alright on the off lane. YYF had a very hard time. And top lane just couldn't do anything to shut down the Doom. The Rubik and Bristleback turned out to not be a very strong duo lane at all, so... Yeah, Radiance is now
Look at the
up.
last hits. look at the last hits as well. It's so bad. The Rubik is 9, Bounty is 18.
Mushi lifts it up on mid, maybe a little bit too far out. He's going to pop a haste, Dragon Tail the bear, and he's going to be able to make his escape. He's actually gone for a first item BKB here, so DK prepared to take these team fights as well. Enchantress getting chased down, but there's still a tier 1 tower here. DK could throw in some TPs if there's a dive, and yeah, Enchantress is going to be just fine.
You were expecting a quick Shadow Blade so he can create a lot of pressure?
I don't know. I am a bit of a fan of the Shadow Blade, but I guess this just gives him an opportunity to be right at the front lines in fights. And there does need to be somebody along with the Doom, I guess, to create space, just so that, you know, Burning, until he gets his BKB, can actually get in on the fringes and do damage. Because if the Dragon Knight can't soak any abilities or soak any damage, then the Clinks is just going to be the next one in line. So I don't mind the BKBs. It's a little bit more conservative, though.
It's also because maybe the track has discouraged him from doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unlikely that it's gonna save him or anything like that if he goes for the Shadow Blade. So IG, this is a fight that I think that they should take. They've got their mech, they've got their Radiance. They might not be able to hold on to this tier 2 for too long, but they do have a glyph to get everybody in position. How, moving back to base, doesn't have a second bear for 20 seconds. And IG actually just gonna give away that tower for free.
I still think it's very hard for them to try and engage into that Ice Armor, Drum, Mech, BKB on the Dragon Knight. It's very difficult for them to go in unless they find a very good position to open on a fight, or they have some sort of advantage like a Roshan, Aegis. Otherwise, even fight, it's still very risky. Even they have the Radiance to take the fight against DK.
Yeah, the question though is, when does it get better? I mean, you've got the Radiance, you've got Mech. Maybe they're close to completing one item somewhere, but aside from that,
they can go now.
Yeah,
they can go now.
Okay, Enchantress going to be lifted up into the air. She's still got the heal. They need to try and burst her down. YYF silenced up, trapped inside the wards as well. Ferrari going to eat the Doom. No damage from him this fight. The Courier looping around everywhere. MMY blinks in, trying to find it. Banana and Faith both being chased down by Ice. He doesn't have any way to slow them down, however. Burning going to continue the pursuit as well. Both of these supports trying to get out of here. Faith not going to try and TP. He knows that there's at least 1 point up in the level death. It's not going to be used. Mech pops. Faith gonna keep on trying to run, but he's gonna get silenced. Pops the dust as his final move. Banana comes in, drops the Poison Nova, drops the Venomous Gale as well. Lana just eating some poison sting damage. The Radiance burn doing work to MMY. He's gonna try and TP out of this one. Is he gonna get there in time? Sounds like he got entangled, but still gonna be brought down. Ferrari, the Doom's worn off, but eating a lot of damage. Manages to turn his back to the DK side, trying to escape, getting body blocked a little bit by YYF, who is going to be able to pop his phase boots and let him through. Mushi, no dragon form for a couple of seconds, uses his BKB to try and continue this fight. DK got really split up and didn't actually find that many kills right at the start, and looks like IG are going to be able to turn this around. Mushi fakes out the double damage. He's been slowed down way too much to escape, and IG, the first fight that they really commit to this game, ends up working out pretty well. Do you count how many track kills they got there, Winter?
I didn't see if Mamaya was tracked when he went down, but I know Mushi was tracked, so probably it's just one, and Burning TP'd out of the fight. Enchantress didn't die. His skill build is actually really good against the Bristleback and the Lone Druid. 4 levels in Untouchable right now. Or Burning. Gonna find a pick off here. Faith is gonna just melt to three right clicks from the Clinks.
And everybody else comes in, well, trying to chase him down. Lanham actually has a gem picked up. Needs to be a little bit careful about what he does here. They do have Ice a little bit further back. The bear can't do anything to the Enchantress. The Doom's going to go out onto How YYF. Going to keep on fighting with the tail end of this double damage burning. Eats an entangle. Looks like he's going to be brought down. Mech keeps him alive for a little bit longer to at least get the trade out of YYF. Ends up being 1-for-1. Mamaya on the back lines. Gets another ward trap. On to How. Can he fight his way out of this one? Looks like he should be able to. He's still trapped. Ice comes in, as does Lanham. They finally bring down the bear, but not before he can entangle Mamaya. Gets denied by the Doom. Very nicely played there by Ice, but the goo keeps on going. Ice gets dragged back into the fight. Mushi returns to the fray. He's popped his ultimate. BKB gonna go as well. Ferrari brought down. Dragon Tail cooling down. 3, 2, 1. Banana gonna try and escape, but more impetus is gonna fly in the back of his head. And DK managed to take that fight 4 for 2 at the end of the day, if you include the death on the Rubik to start things off.
They got a track on Burning, so Bounty Hunter died at the start, but still not too bad. They still got Burning, and they have to spend the Doom. It's like the best thing they could ever wish. At least they didn't got like 0 kills in that fight.
Yeah, but this is again a situation where even though it was an okay trade for IG, it wasn't a positive one. It wasn't a fight that they won and went on to get some towers. And like we've been emphasizing, if you have this Radiance, you have this mech, you have two of the biggest items that you're going to complete for the entire game in terms of what they do for the cost, and you're not winning fights, that does not bode well. Though, in fairness, DK are up almost 20k gold and 14k experience.
They have ice armor on the Rubik now. Ice armor for the Bristleback and ice armor for the Bear. This is actually very huge for them for the next fight.
Yeah, nice steal from Faith. Managed to get it off Ice, who's also still walking around with ice armor.
This is not something to be trifled with. Bristleback ice armor and the Bear ice armor.
Yeah, everybody's just going to be so hard to right-click to death, especially the Enchantress. If she's got ice armor and 4 points and untouchable, I don't know if you even bother, like, trying to attack. I think you just chase her and nuke, and that's all you can do.
She's a big distraction in the fights because she deals a lot of damage. You can't ignore her at the same time. With that being said, so what you try to do, you have to take a long time to chase, so his team is going to have a lot of space to kill you guys when you are trying to focus on the Enchantress.
Yeah, and Lanham actually almost has his Aghanim Scepter picked up, so his damage is only going to scale up from here. We have a Blink Dagger over on Burning, opting not to go for the BKB. I'm a bit surprised, especially against the Venomancer and the Bristleback. Blink Dagger feels a little bit underwhelming. It's still definitely nice for chasing people down for those solo pickoffs, but as far as its teamfight presence, I'm not sure how to feel. What's your take, Winter?
Yeah, I think the teamfight without BKB, it's very hard for the Klings to just stand on one spot. He needs to be able to, like, the Blink Dagger is going to be relying on a lot of his own positioning. It's not by any means a wrong selection, it's just how he wants to play the fights.
And IG actually managed to head into the Roshan pit. Looks like they're going to pick this one up for free. Burning. I guess the other thing that we didn't even talk about is Blink Dagger not so great against Radiance either. So there are just a million ways to keep this on cooldown for Burning, and I guess all it's going to be good for is solo pickoffs on the supports if they maybe pick up a Force Staff.
Yeah, I think it's only good right now in the game for picking up the supports or any solo kills. In the fights, I don't really feel it's gonna give the Klings a lot of mobility because there's too many ways, like the wards, the plague wards, the Radiance
Poison Sting, Radiance.
Yeah.
I mean, it does give him a lot of mobility around the map as well to apply some pressure, but we'll see how he ends up using it. Bottom lane, IG gonna do a little bit, but looks like they actually are going to be making their way back to try and defend this tier 2. Their last outer tower on the top side. They do have a gem picked up over on Banana. Tower's going to end up falling bottom lane anyway, just to the Dire.
The first tower.
Yeah, their first tower of the game. But that's also one way to frame the gold advantage, that if IG start winning fights, they're going to clean up the rest of the towers on the map and bring that gold back to a much more reasonable spot.
Not to mention, if you win fights,
track gold.
It literally means track gold. So that's going to be really helpful for them. They can definitely come back to become really strong in the next 5 to 10 minutes if they win one fight. Just one fight with track.
Yeah, so it might even turn out that YYF is going to be a fairly high priority target. He's actually almost managed to reach level 11 as well, so even more track gold on its way. Aghanim Scepter going to be finished up for the Enchantress. And DK is still just taking this fairly passively. They've got a Shiva's picked up on the Doom. SNY is going to be snagged by Ferrari over on the Dire side. And Mushi is no big surprise, working towards an AC right now. Looks like he's just the Hyperstone away. So lots of items coming online. Do you think there's anything that's really changed the way that these fights are going to play out, or is it still going to come down to pick off or something like that?
I actually managed to notice something in the last 2 fights. ISSI actually went to cast his ultimate on How twice in a row. It would have been much beneficial for the team in general if the Bristleback can't do anything with it, with his Quill Spray and the mech. I feel the Bristleback has to be the main focus of the Doom.
Yeah, the one problem is that if Ferrari has realized that he's just the one being focused every single time, he might turn up to the fights a little bit later. Though they might not be able to afford for him to turn up late.
Yeah,
he is really the only frontliner that they have right now. Aside from the lone druid, of course.
The secondary frontliner would be the Bear.
Yeah. And Hao's actually got really good farm. He's got Vlad's, and he's got a Hyperstone up on his bear. Still only basic boots, but not a huge problem.
Yeah, but you were talking about the Bristleback avoiding the Doom. Like, it's like a game of patience. Whoever, like, he's gonna be waiting for the Bristleback, and the Bristleback is gonna be waiting for him. And at the end of the day, who's gonna be much more patient? That's the question. Who is gonna be the more patient one?
Yeah, I guess the thing is the Doom can be in the fight and doing stuff without using his ultimate, while the Bristleback, if he's trying to avoid the ult, can't really participate in the fight.
Yeah, that is actually a very, very good way to put it. That's actually very well said.
Yeah, so the Doom can keep on fighting. IG just kind of farming their side of the map right now. They are continuing to get outstripped in terms of farm by DK, but we're leveling out a little bit past the 20k mark, about 15k in terms of experience as well. Burning 3.4k, so if he wants to start working towards that BKB, he can definitely do so. And both teams just kind of playing this passively. I think IG, they've got another 2 minutes left with this Aegis, so
yeah,
we'll see if that's going to be a catalyst for them to try and move out, because DK are just waiting it out at the moment.
Yeah, they're just waiting for the Aegis. They don't have to take unnecessary risks going into the fight against the Aegis. They're just very contented right now to farm. They're controlling the whole map. They're farming more than IG. IG are stuck in their base. Only the bear has income because you can send it out to burn the creeps, but the rest of the heroes are just having very minimal farm. If you look at the last hits, it's just on top of the top 4. Doom, Klings, and the Dragon Knight are among the top 4, and only the bear is rich for IG.
Yeah, and as the game drags on, the Spirit Bear still has pretty much the same amount of health the whole way through, and DK now they've got a little bit of minus armor from an AC being delivered to Mushi. If it gets to the ultra late game, I worry that the Bristleback's going to get doomed, the bear is going to be focused down by right clicks, and then IG are going to be in a really tough spot. So hopefully they're going to be able to make use of this Aegis right now.
He needs BKB on the bear though, I feel.
How much does that help you? I guess it saves you from impetus damage, it saves you from lockdown from the Shadow Shaman and the Dragon Tail.
The main thing is the lockdown, because like in the fight they can just hex him or just Dragon Tail the bear, and the bear can't do damage.
DK are going to put up a little bit of a defense here. They're just going to try and wait out more of the Aegis. I doubt that they're going to try and engage. And especially since Ice is all the way down bot. They actually managed to get the Shackle out onto the Bear. They hex it up as well. Bear going to take a spill here. IG, House split off down onto the low ground. Doom's going to go onto Ferrari. He's already being focused, burning Blinks in with his BKB active. YYF going to try and throw out some tracks. Eats a long-range impetus. How tries to make his way back in on the back lines. They do manage to get the Poison Nova down, but Mushi just pops the BKB, stuns up YYF, finishes him off. Maomaya with the Blink in as well. Down goes Banana, Gem hits the deck, and DK, despite there being an Aegis up on the Lone Druid, doesn't end up mattering at all. 3-0 in that fight, and 1 bear kill.
Yeah, that's what happens when the Bristleback is Doom. You can't do anything instead of the bear that is Doom. That's a huge load of difference there. And it was a really good engagement from the Shadow Shaman, catching the bear out first. The team can't really fight. If you think about it that way, the enemy team drops their spells on the bear, and you think that it's the best time for IG to turn tail and fight there. But the bear died, and it takes like another 2 to 3 seconds before he can resummon, so there's no damage potential in that time frame. So IG was actually forced to just back off, and once they back off, Ferrari got doomed. It's just the fight is gone after that.
Yeah. The other thing for IG is that they have awful focus fire. They have a lot of AoE damage, cool spray, all of the Venomancer's stuff. The Radiance Burn as well, but they just don't really have anything to take one person out of the fight and not have to deal with any of their spells. And if you look at DK's lineup, everybody is relevant. Burning's just going to be right-clicking the whole time. Mushi's going to be throwing out 9-second cooldown Dragon Tails for the entire duration, and even just the same thing for Ice. He's a nuisance to bring down, and he's doing sustained damage. But yeah, this is a bit tough for IG. Burning actually has a gem, so he's tracking YYF. Right now, hoping that he splits up a little bit from the pack so he can pick up a kill, but DK I think still very happy with their position in this game. And they're about to wait out the Aegis as well, so they might even be able to go back on the aggressive soon.
Dude, the untouchable level 4 was so... They can't kill the Enchantress, and she's doing so much damage in the fight. That's just like one of the few reasons why IG were just forced to run away from they're running away from the enchanters.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
It just feels weird when you say that.
Radiant's top tower.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to me because I thought that there was going to be more early game action from the Enchantress this game. You know, as I touched on in the early portion of the draft, but Lanham actually spent quite a bit of time farming. DK know that they've waited out the Aegis now, so they're just gonna head up onto the high ground. They drop the Serpent Wards. They're gonna start chipping away. The Bear is trying to do some split pushing. We'll be able to bring down a tier 2 over on the side. Burning jumps in, pops off the BKB, focusing on Banana for now. Gonna try and get that Poison Nova out of the fight, but he is gonna be able to escape. But doesn't matter. DK, everybody else, just space created by Burning. They bring down the melee barracks. They lose absolutely nobody. Only the BKB charge on the Clinks used, and they get away scot-free. And Ice actually gonna be able to chase down How here. How? What can he do? Gets the Bear, blocks him up. No, phase boots through from Ice. Though they won't be able to cancel that TP. I don't know what happened there. I feel like Ice could have just phase booted all the way through and stopped him.
He didn't feel confident because the Bear had a lot of items, so probably was just worried that the Bear would be able to take him out. Since there was none of his teammates were teleporting in.
Yeah, it looks like nobody actually had a TP there. It looks like Enchantress did, Burning did not, MMY did not. I think he only just got one delivered now. So yeah, Ice reads the situation pretty well, hears from his teammates, and yeah, not gonna risk being entangled to death.
Mushi's gonna be looking for initiation here, but Shadowblade is gonna run off, so they're gonna be able to see him. But this is just DK being in cruise control of the game after taking out the Rex there and not losing anything of their own.
I'm flabbergasted at how well DK did in the early game with the lineup that they have. Like
the first blood was a huge lot of a difference. Ice was starting in the off lane with boots and stuff.
And lots of regen, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very easy time for him on the off lane against those two heroes.
Yeah, and at this point, DK can just keep on doing exactly what they've been doing the whole game long. Continuing to farm, pressuring in the lanes, the whole Rax mid is already gone. And I guess Roshan's respawned, so if they win a fight, I think they can probably just end the game. I don't know if there's any need to do anything else.
The supports of DK are doing so much in this game, from the Enchantress and the Shadow Shaman. They just did too much. IG was under so much pressure from the supports.
Yeah, Burning, sitting right on top of a Sentry Ward right now, doesn't want to pop out of the Skeleton Walk just yet. We've actually got a BKB picked up for How, so
on the Bear?
Yeah, the Bear should at least be able to get some damage down in this next fight. But we're gonna see if it's gonna be enough to end some streaks. No, it's not gonna be enough to go and secure the Roshan. DK actually chose to drop the Serpent Wards for that one. One of them just outside of the pit, doing a little bit of scouting, but IG get there a little bit too late. They're still gonna try and take this fight. Mushi, a little bit greedy. Wanted to try and farm up some Ancients. Ice is going to come in from the side as well. Mushi pops off the BKB. Faith's going to be focused down before he can do anything. No. Manages to use the Ghost Scepter. He's still alive. The Doom going to go out onto the Bristleback. How going to keep on fighting. Mushi now out of his BKB. Ice pops the mech. They're just focusing on the Bear for now. Lone Druid takes a fall. Lanham keeps on going. YYF gets silenced. Slowed down by the splash damage. Banana finished off as well. And Faith, he's had enough. That's going to be the GG call.
Yeah, there was just nothing more they could have done. After, even if they spotted up Mushi, they didn't got the lift on the right hero. He lifted the illusion, so after that it was like the initiation didn't work out and they were not going to win the fight after that.
Yeah, so very convincing first game from DK. I think the problem for IG, they just didn't really have anything to do for the first 10-15 minutes of the game.
Look at the Enchantress, 3-0 and 12, and the start of the game, he was like rotating among the two camps that had Sentry Ward, so the Bounty Hunter couldn't harass him and steal levels. And then his skill build was brilliant against the Bristleback, against the Lone Druid, against the Bounty Hunter. Everyone was like, do I kill this guy? No, I can't touch this guy. And he's like killing everybody with his impetus.
Yeah, and like you pointed out, it's not that he farmed the whole early game either. He was a little bit distracted by the Bounty Hunter, and he sent a couple of creeps mid to try and tip the balance in Mushi's favor so that he could get some good farm. So
he did so much in this game. I just have to say that. He just did so much.
Yeah, well, I mean, Lanham's been playing, that's probably what, 4 or 5 games of Enchantress now for him over the last 2 days.
That's why they first picked the Enchantress for him all the time. like the last 2 days.
So if you're IG, is there anything that you can swap out in terms of bans, do you think, to consider getting rid of the Enchantress?
I don't think it's worth getting rid of the Enchantress. They just need to be able to deal with him better.
Mhm.
Enchantress is a hero that has very little hit points, so maybe you just pick a stronger nuking lineup. This game they didn't have a very good nuking lineup, so the Enchantress was able to thrive in this environment. All melee hitters, all melee damages, and Untouchable deals with it, and there's no big nukes to burst her down at the start of the fight. So she is actually I would say Enchantress is very, very good in this scenario here.
So DK continue a 4-game win streak against IG. We're going to see if IG can turn it around in Game 2 of this 2-game set for the group stage portion of this competition. This is, of course, the Red Bull ECL. Don't go too far, guys. Next game coming up soon.